What's up, guys? In this video I'm going to do a really quick review of the 2021 Bronco Sport, also known as the Baby Bronco. I recently rented this vehicle on a trip to Orlando, Florida using the app Turo, which I've used several times and always had great experiences. And I feel like I got pretty lucky renting this car, being that it did not even have 1,500 miles on it. So really a brand new Ford Bronco Sport. Now first, let's talk about the exterior of this Bronco Sport. Now it's considered the Baby Bronco because this is the smallest of the lineup. It's the first one that's come out for sale, but it is small. And just how small is it? Well, it's actually a little bit smaller than a Ford Escape, but don't let that fool you. Actually driving this thing, it makes it feel like you're driving something a lot larger than it is. Now this Bronco Sport has the black grille with the black Bronco letters, which I particularly like. I think it looks good. It looks very tough in my opinion. And the black and gray colors I think look good. I'm not sure if it looks a little busy, but maybe some other color options will look even more striking. Although this does turn a lot of heads, maybe because it is the new Bronco and people are curious about it, but I did get a lot of people taking second glances at this vehicle. And another thing about this particular model, I believe this is a very base model Bronco Sport. I don't think it has a lot of extra options or features, which might be good if you're in the market for one of these at a base price. This might be exactly what you're getting. And when nighttime befalls the Bronco Sport, the LED lights that run through the front headlights I think look particularly good. Kind of gives it a bit of a intimidating or aggressive look to the Bronco. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool feature. Around the sides of the car, I think the parking lights are pretty basic, nothing too exciting or bad about them. And when we go around to the rear of the vehicle, the parking lights, we see that they have a LED light that wraps around the lights, and I think this looks pretty good. Now under the hood you have a 1.5 liter EcoBoost engine, which quite frankly you're not going to impress anyone with, but driving this through the stop and go traffic of Orlando, I will say this was sufficient power to get around everywhere, and I enjoyed driving it. In the interior of the Bronco Sport, the driving position is very well. You sit pretty high, have really good visibility around. The surfaces are mostly all plastic, but they feel really solid, really nice to the touch. A fairly comfortable car to be in. It didn't feel small, it didn't feel too big. For me, it felt just right. Most of the controls are knobs, as you can see here, and they kind of click and feel nice to the touch. And also at 5'7", I had plenty of headroom. And whenever you open the door to enter your Bronco, it will play this animation to let you know you are entering a Bronco. In the center console, you have a nice size media storage bin under the screen, and here down low, you also have your cup holders and a nice size storage under your armrest. Above the driver's side, you can see a microphone for your wireless Bluetooth phone, which we have the controls on the steering wheel on the right here, and on the left we have the controls for our volume and cruise control. Now if you're curious who this car is designed for, a clue is when you exit this vehicle, it reminds you to check the rear seats for children. Now this Bronco Sport does not have a push button start, but it comes with this nice key fob with the Bronco logo, but you just press the button and you're gonna have to insert the key and turn it to crank up that engine. Now in between your speed and RPM gauges, you have a 4-inch instrument panel where it shows things such as your GOAT modes, your go over any terrain modes that you can control with this dial, and you can't actually see them until you close the door. So you have to remember to shut all your doors before you get into the right modes. Now this sport version has 5 different GOAT modes. You see we have normal, eco, sand, slippery, and sport. And in the center console we have the dial that controls your drive modes. Very easy to use. I took me a little bit to get used to it, but I really like using this dial. There's also a button to turn your parking brake on and to release it as well. And there's also a auto lock feature, so your car does not roll back when you're stopped at a light that's, let's say, on a hill. The center console has an 8-inch touchscreen, which feels really good to the touch. It's very responsive. It has Apple CarPlay that's fairly easy to set up. You must be connected through a USB to access the Apple CarPlay, but very nice touchscreen, great position, great visibility from the driving standpoint. Also looks good at night with the instrument cluster and the infotainment center screen. And above we have a place to place your sunglasses and some reading lights. The rear seating is firm but comfortable with rubber floor mats and the Bronco logo in the middle. The Safari style roof gives you plenty of headroom, making the car seem a lot larger than it is. There is also a USB and USB-C connection. Now towards the back, there are two different ways to open the back latch. One is the button for the glass, which opens up kind of a narrow opening, which is not really useful for bringing in groceries or anything like that. So for that, you need to open up the right side, and there is quite a bit of space here. As you can see here, you can fit a lot of stuff back here. So a nice size storage in the back. On the door, you have these lights that you can tilt, and these are controlled by a button also here in the back. You will also find a 12-volt power connection along with several hooks and loops for cargo tie downs. There's also a rubber mat with the Bronco logo. Now, driving the Bronco Sport was actually really nice. It has that rugged feel that the Bronco is supposed to have. Again, this is not a race car. It's not something that you're going to outrun anyone in, but I felt like it had plenty of power for the stop and go traffic here in Orlando, and it gave a really planted, really comfortable ride. The hood is really noticeable. It's really visible from the driving position, and it makes the car just feel that much more rugged. I felt like I wanted to jump over curbs in it, so I guess it gives you that rugged feel. The different power modes, I did notice some difference with the Sport, not so much with some of the other features, but again, I wasn't driving in slippery or sand conditions, so I don't know how those would perform under those circumstances. Overall, I think the Bronco Sport is a really nice car that as an owner, you will enjoy driving this car around town. It feels good, it still has that ruggedness that the Bronco is supposed to have, and it will still turn heads. Okay, so that pretty much concludes my review. Again, this is not something I typically do. If you like videos like this and want to see more of it, please like and subscribe to this channel. Let me know you want to see more car reviews. But mainly, I usually post things about architecture, and that's what this channel is originally about. So anyways, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.